When Darwin titled his book On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection, or The Preservation of Favored Races in the Struggle for Life, he exposed a deep contradiction. The origin of species was equated to their preservation. But preservation is an a posteriori act. It can only occur once something already exists. As Darwin himself admitted, unless profitable variations do occur, natural selection can do nothing. So what does it mean to say that natural selection, a filtering process, is the creative force behind evolution? Darwin tried to resolve this tension by likening natural selection to artificial selection. But does nature truly select? A filter, unlike a selector, does not judge, value, or choose. It merely eliminates. It thrusts out what doesn't pass. Darwin described natural selection as a force like 100,000 wedges, filling ecological gaps by excluding the unfit. That's not a creative force, that's a sieve. And yet, Darwin personified natural selection. He said it would never produce anything injurious to a being, that it acts solely by and for the good of each. These are not neutral descriptions, they are value judgments. In this way, nature became a moral agent, a metaphorical projection of human values onto biological processes. This is where the ideological matrix of Darwin's theory reveals itself. The struggle for existence, central to natural selection, came directly from Malthus, whose essay on population framed nature as a harsh but just instructor, punishing the weak and rewarding the strong. Inequality was not only natural, it was necessary. For Malthus, as for Destutt, Tracy, social differences were justified by natural differences in will, property, and faculties. To be poor was to lack the internal faculties to acquire wealth, and thus to lose in the struggle for life. Darwin's nature, much like liberal political economy, was structured to preserve those deemed fittest. In this sense, natural selection is not just a scientific concept, it is an ideological metaphor, naturalizing social values under the guise of biological necessity. It doesn't just explain how life changes, it projects onto nature the logic of competition, inequality, and economic struggle. So we must ask, when we speak of natural selection, are we describing nature or are we describing ourselves?